This episode of the Home Pros Radio Show podcast is brought to you by HomeBinder, the premier home management app. Receive home maintenance reminders, organize your home's inventory, manage your home improvement projects, and more. Stay tuned to get a free upgrade code for HomeBinder worth over $200.
The Home Pros Radio Show.
I'm Tommy Donovan with RIC Home Inspections, and this is the Home Pros Radio Show podcast. We start this episode with a dilemma that many homeowners may have when moving into a new home. What to do with that bonus room over your garage. Many times, these rooms are used for the placement of recreational items such as a pool table that may be very heavy. How do we know if the framing of that room will support that weight? Well, Shane and I tackled that topic for one of our listeners.
Question that I got this week from a homeowner that I thought was pretty interesting. He's got a bonus room. I was trying to figure out whether or not it would be prudent for him to put a pool table in his bonus room above the garage.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's a lot of weight.
This is from Mike, by the way, from Greer. He says, I have a home with a bonus room above the garage, or a frog.
Yeah,
we don't
finished
call
room above
the garage. Yep. I'm interested in putting a pool table up there, but how do I know if the floor is stable enough to support the weight of the table? What would you do? Any suggestions?
Honestly, I would think if it's modern construction, it probably is. I would like to look in the garage and see if I see a header, in the middle of the garage, because that would definitely be a good indicator that it is supported, because that header is going to be holding those joists up. If the ceiling's completely flat, I would have to look into it a little bit further, see if I can't figure out what the size of those floor joists may be. And it's possible to do it without starting to open things up, but eventually you go run out of options and you're going to get to maybe opening it up.
Another option would be if you know who the builder is, contact them. Yeah. See, generally speaking, when engineers and architects design these homes, especially if they're building a room like a bonus room, especially over a garage, they keep those things in mind. They design homes based on what the potential use would be. What you don't want to do is do things. I've seen it where, like, somebody will put a stackable laundry in what was a hall closet. Now, I could guarantee you that they haven't accommodated for the weight of that.
Right.
I've seen settling and things like that. But if you have a bonus room with space like that, the thoughts are there to design the home to actually withstand or support that potential type of use. The other thing you can do, though, without having to tear into things, is if you know who the builder is, contact them. There are enough production builders out there where you could probably call the office and just tell them what the floor plan is, and they can give you the feedback on what those recommendations are.
One issue that Shane and I tend to tackle quite a bit when helping homeowners relates to moisture management outside your home. Specifically, the need for proper flashing in areas where a concentration of moisture can penetrate your home and cause large amounts of damage. One type of flashing that many homeowners and contractors are unaware of is Kickout flashing. If you are having issues with moisture draining from your roof and working behind your siding or brick, maybe this flashing upgrade is just what you need. Check out our RIC Home Inspections photo from the field, included in the show description of this podcast, as Shane and I discuss the effectiveness of properly installed Kickout flashing.
Perfect day to talk about flashing. And, flashing is a very important component of your home. And we're going to be talking about some parts of your home that could be affected by the moisture if the right flashing is not in place.
The RIC Home Inspections photo from the field.
What are you looking at? I know what I'm doing.
Did you see that? Shane, you have this wonderful list here that you've put together of things that we commonly see. Here, he's looking across the room. It's on the other side of me. Of things that he commonly repairs during real estate transactions, things that you see a lot. And it's funny because I go down the list and I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm usually right now. Yeah. So, it's spot on.
Yeah, that is where that list came from, was from a bunch of different homes.
Yeah.
And these things I see all the time.
We were talking about wood rot a couple of weeks ago, and that's very, very, very common. And one of the things that can cause wood rot is another repair you commonly have to make, and it's related to flashing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we use in our homes to keep the moisture out. And over the years, I've noticed there's one particular kind of flashing that many contractors aren't aware of, that is commonly not installed, but you know you need it when you need it.
Yeah.
And it's usually thanks to our photo from the field. That's how we find out we need it. If you look at the photo from the field, you see a roof line that is coming in contact with a vertical wall, brick wall. And next to that is the mildew and staining that accommodates water draining down an exterior wall. So how do we fix that?
Kickout flashing.
Kickout flashing.
Yeah, it's just a piece of flashing that actually goes in against the wall or behind the wall in some surfaces to actually just divert the water, because that gutter doesn't butt all the way into that exterior. It doesn't go all the way into that exterior surface. So there's like the smallest little gap. Yeah. So you install a little, it's called kickout flashing, that actually kicks the water out away from the wall into the gutter. It diverts it. And this can be a big problem in, like, say, a vinyl siding house if the gutter, like the vinyl was changed later, so you're going to have some open wood there, and that water will get down, and then you start seeing rotted walls.
It gets inside the siding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily in a house that's built and then the gutters were added later, but if you have a house that maybe the siding was changed later, maybe they couldn't get back behind there. You see, sometimes people will think it looks good and it's right, but
basically what they did
there's
is
still holes.
They might have had like an older wood-sided house that they installed vinyl over, but didn't take the gutters off
to do it. Yes,
before they. So there's have this butt end of the gutter that is actually surrounded by the J channel of the vinyl.
Correct.
And which is the opposite of what you want.
Right. Yeah, so you'll definitely, whenever you see that, that's always a bad thing, because those walls, if it can get in those walls, those studs are pretty much going to get rotted out. And you're going to have a big problem.
And, the way it works is your flashing should overlap each other in the direction the water flows. It's kind of hard to explain. But kickout flashing in this particular instance is definitely the solution. Again, I've been surprised at the number of times that I've recommended it and seen a situation like this, and I've recommended it, and the repair guy's like, "What's kickout flashing?" I have no idea. Maybe what we'll do is put a post up on Facebook later to give everyone a visual of what that is.
This episode of the Home Pros Radio Show podcast is sponsored by HomeBinder. There is no better way to organize paint colors and home documents, get maintenance reminders, receive email alerts of appliance recalls, and share valuable information about your home with potential buyers. For a limited time, use promo code HOMEPROSRadio, all one word, to upgrade to our premium edition for the life of your ownership. Visit us online at homebinder.com or simply click on the link provided in the show description of this podcast. HomeBinder, a homeowner's best friend.
And finally in this episode, since we're talking moisture, we turn to the topic of pest control and the issues that could literally swarm around your home during the wetter months of the year. For some answers and some helpful tips, we bring in our show partner and regular Home Pros Radio Show contributor, Meaghan Sicilian from Scout's Pest Control.
All right. Yeah, that's right. Scout is checking the phone lines for your calls, and it sounds like we've got a special guest on. Oh, Scout's excited. You know who's on? It's Meaghan. Good morning, Meaghan from Scout's Pest Control.
Good morning. How are you?
This show all of a sudden started sounding so much better. Nice to have you on. Well,
thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, Shane and I have been talking a lot about moisture and all the things that affect our jobs, and it sounds to me like you guys have been running crazy with work because of how does moisture affect your business?
It creates humidity. With all this heat that we have here in South Carolina, and it's not even so much the rain, of course, standing water, things like that are never good for any pest, but humidity is what really causes termites to have ideal breeding conditions. And when that happens, you usually see these little things that everybody knows that kind of swarm everywhere in your home, thousands of them at a time usually.
They're like, they kind of look like just little
winged ants.
Ants with wings.
Yeah.
In a way, except ants have 3 segments to their body and termites only have 2. For sure way to tell if it's a termite or an ant.
Interesting.
So if you catch it, you can check it out.
Yeah. Just count the segments.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're not hard to catch because there's usually lots of them.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I remember a couple years ago the lawn company came in and they aerated our lawn. And then, like, within 30 minutes after he left, it was all of a sudden, all these things started flying out of the ground. It was like a bunch of gnats. And I learned that it was termites. They were swarmers.
Yeah, the specific name is Eastern Subterranean termites, the actual ones that we have here in this region. And, of course, that means they live underground. So, absolutely, you go disturbing their spots, create some good breeding conditions, and here come the males and females looking to start a whole new colony near your home.
So you see them flying around, and that's what they're doing. So what did the swarmers do? What is their job?
Their intent is to start a new colony. They're males and females that are newly mature for reproduction, and they're ready to go. The humidity tells them, hey, it's summertime. Yeah, let's go have some parties.
Well, it's interesting because especially when you're talking about subterranean termites, we're always thinking about them coming up from the ground in tubes and not necessarily flying around. So it's a whole other aspect of what they do that I don't know if a lot of us are aware of it.
No. And, one little thing about termites that's really interesting is the queen can live for up to 20 years. So if you don't call Scout and get them out there to take care of that, most of the damage caused to a home is usually contributed by multiple colonies because they're going to swarm every year once they're mature and start to breed. They usually don't go too far because they can't fly very well.
When you guys are going out to homes, I never see them. When do we typically know they're there? I mean, are there certain times a day or certain, like, people don't call you? I guess I'm hemming and hawing because I'm trying to ask a question like people don't call you because they see swarmers flying around in their yard, right?
I mean, they typically do because they know that, there's something going on. So they're curious to know what it is. And, of course, the biggest thing is catch termites before they get into the home. Okay, so if they're in the yard, the only for sure way to have your home protected is to treat it. You could check it one day, and they could be coming up the next day. What if they just haven't started building their little fantastic mud tubes and their, beautiful towers? They can crawl right over concrete, treated wood. Doesn't matter. It doesn't affect them. The only way to affect the termites is to have a treatment done.
Now, how long does it usually take for one of those tubes to form? I mean, like, what's the...
Just depends on the maturity of the colony, honestly. Because a termite colony can have anywhere from 200,000 of up to 5 million members in the colony. So, when you got 200,000, it's great numbers. But if you have 5 million, I mean, those tubes are going to get built a lot faster.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a lot of little workers going on right there.
Yeah, get them to work.
And yes, one thing that people don't really know too much about termites, and the reason they're so destructive, they do not sleep.
24 hours a day.
It must be in radio.
Yes, the hard work does not stop. Just like us here at Scouts Pest Control.
Gotcha. Good deal. Well, I have this question that I got from a listener this week. This is Marty from Greenville. He was asking, do we recommend the use of termite bait stations, and how do they work? I'll see them on home inspections. I'll see them like placed every so many feet around the house. I don't know. It seems like you'd be inviting trouble by using those. What do you think? You're the professional.
Well, bait stations are a monitoring system. More so, they have to be checked very often, and they're not necessarily a treatment to the home, in my opinion, because when you find activity, if it passes the bait station and actually were to get to your home and not infest to the station first, you're going to be able to still need to apply that liquid application to the soil. And so we really mainly stick with, liquid applications. Termidor, high efficiency is the product we primarily use on all of our termite treatments. It's one of the best things out there, has really good statistics, and has a special bonding agent that keeps it locked into that soil, and we back it for up to 10 years.
Good deal. Yeah, I've always thought that it was counterintuitive to like put bait. But you're inviting them towards your house so you can find out if your house is.
If you go get them,
they're very expensive too. More so than liquid treatments as far as keeping up your bond. The insurance policy to make sure whatever we do put out at your home is going to do what we say it does, and that's the most important part.
Cool. Well, Marty, thanks for the question, and I hope that helps you. Always good to talk to the pros. Do it every day. Anything else that's happening? Any other things that we need to keep an eye out for this year? This
mosquitoes.
Time?
I mean,
right
now after all that rain, that's another insect that loves that humidity, mosquitoes. And I think we're all affected. They ask me if I want to come to a picnic just about every day. They call, and I don't want to talk to them. I know I'm the lunch. I know it's not a fun picnic. It's me that they want to come, so that they can have a good day. But I tried to do little home remedies. Yeah. One thing you can do, there's several things out there that are great for mosquito repellents, but garlic clove actually has a larvicidal tactic or agent in it, and it will actually help to kill any eggs that they lay.
Really?
So you could crush them in a pot, boil it up with some water, and you can spray that. It's safe to spray around your house, around the outside of your home. Plus side, you smell like garlic, and no vampires ever.
No vampires.
You're never going to have to worry about that.
Mosquitoes.
Repels mosquitoes and vampires.
Anything that sucks blood.
Like to
what about ticks?
Blood. Ticks. Yeah. Oh, that is interesting.
Eucalyptus oil, coconut oil, citronella, the garlic, coffee grounds. When you get done making your coffee in the morning, you could sprinkle that around the outside in your gardens, and that'll also help to just deter mosquitoes from the area.
And
so,
you also
things that you can try, or you can call Scouts, and I'll handle it.
There you go. You also don't want to have any, of course, this is probably common knowledge, but you don't want any standing water around the house.
Standing water. Bright lights. There's daytime and nighttime biters. So those bright lights that aren't bug yellow or LED are definitely going to attract more bugs. But hey, if you have Scouts coming out to your house every 90 days, you just tell me what's going on with those problems. We're always checking for termites. We're under the home every quarter. It's a good, effective way to make sure that your problems are handled. We do mosquito treatments. We come out there every month, and we make sure to, we dump that standing water if we see it. So Scouts can patrol your yard for standing water too.
Hey, Meaghan, just quick for the listeners, is there a price for the mosquito treatment, or is that something that's different free. Yard by yard?
It does vary yard to yard, but you're typically looking at about $50 for about a half acre to an acre, just depending on, the size of the yard and how much shrubbery and areas there are to treat.
So
and of
well
course,
worth it.
Scouts always watches out for, animals, koi ponds, chickens, edible gardens. There's many, many things that we need to be cautious of because this is a public health safety issue when it comes to treating for mosquitoes. It's not just let's get rid of mosquitoes. We don't want to hurt honeybees. There's a lot of things we need to be cautious of when we just spray for mosquitoes.
Okay.
Again, that was Meaghan Sicilian with Scouts Pest Control. For more helpful information regarding pest management in your home, visit them online at scoutspestcontrol.com or call their office directly at 864-469-4999. That's going to do it for this episode of the Home Pros Radio Show podcast. We have more great information on the way, so be sure to subscribe so we can help you with the information you need to keep your home in tip-top shape. Also, don't hesitate to leave us a review. Your feedback helps us keep track of how we're doing, and it improves our ability to reach out to more homeowners just like you. You can also contact us directly through our website at homeprosradio.com or simply shoot us an email at ask@homeprosradio.com with your questions. For my co-host Shane Hips with Closing Contractor, I'm Tommy Donovan with RIC Home Inspections, and we'll catch you next time on the Home Pros Radio Show podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show. If you have a question for the Home Pros, visit us online at homeprosradio.com, where you can contact us directly and also learn more about the topics and guests we bring to you each week. It's the Home Pros Radio Show online at homeprosradio.com or on the radio at 94.5 WGTK, The Answer.